Welcome back to the shop, guys. If you are a painter and been painting planes for a while and you're good at it, turn this video off. It is not for you. This is for the novice guy who is just getting into this. Remember, do not try these techniques on your plane. Paint it the way you want, the style you want, because I'm just letting you look over my shoulder to see how I'm painting. Okay, for today, we are talking about, we've already done the primer and the Minwax first, the primer, sanded that down, wet sanded it. Now we've shot some color on the plane, and basically I'm doing that in light coats. Not getting the can right up on the plane. We're not trying to get close to the plane. I'm back about maybe 12 to 13, 14 inches. The first coat is just going to be real light and misty. I wait a couple of minutes, let that tack up, and then I come back and shoot another light coat on it. Not even getting close, just 12 inches, dusting it again. And then I let that tack up for another 2, 3, 4 minutes, just you can look at it and see it start to drying. And then I come back and I hit it with the closer range, still about 12 inches, but I'm moving the can slower. Slower is going to give me that wet, glossy look, but I'm not stopping. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving, because you don't want to cause a run that you're going to have to sand out when it's dry. But if you get that flow going and you keep it can moving and keep it slow, you'll see the speed of it. You don't want to stop in one place because that's going to glob up and it's going to run. So get that paste going and you get a nice smooth finish on that, and then you let that dry. What I do is I let this sit for another day for me. I'm not going to, if I wake up tomorrow and it's dry, I'm not going to pull out my masking tape and start trying to, mask it up and start putting the next color on and starting to do the next decal or whatever. No, for me, like I said, this is for me, not you. I wait a day or two. I let this stuff cure, because everybody keeps asking me, how do you get that tape off without pulling the paint off? Well, there's some things I've learned, and one of them is patience. Let this stuff cure up, let it harden up, and when you get to the point where you're ready to pull that tape off, you are not going to have a problem like all these guys are talking about. Because I don't have that problem when I do this on my plane. I take my time, I'm in no hurry, let this paint cure, and like this white, I was reading a can, they were like talking, 24 to 48 hours for this paint to cure up. So it just works out for me. The other thing I started using, I'm using these purple sanding blocks. Got this at Home Depot. It works pretty good. I mean, I still got my old favorites, my black ones. They work good. But I'm going to try these purple ones and see how they do. They seem to be, this is after sanding today. It's pretty clean. The other thing I do when I'm sanding, and I don't know, people might not do this or not, but you're going to get paint build up on your block, and that's why I keep this water and this little cheap brush here, and I brush my sanding pad off as I'm going, because it keeps it clean and it keeps it cutting sharp. It's just like on a chainsaw. You're just keeping those edges sharp by sharpening it, filing it. Well, I file mine and I keep this thing clean. And so when I'm done sanding, my sanding block looks like this. And that's the way it's ready for the next job, the next sanding situation. And it's going to cut right off from the beginning. The other thing I did was I didn't put any covering on the floor, and I got paint on the floor because my fans back there are sucking down, and I'll take care of that in the summer. I'll wash that off with some acetone, and when I'm done doing all my planes, when I'm ready to start doing all the mock-ups and stuff, I won't need this booth standing up here. I can put this thing away and I clean the floor up. What else did I need to tell you about? Sanding blocks. What else? Just light coats, baby. Just light coats will be your friends. Don't get runs. When I get done, I'm going to come back and I'm going to wet sand all this stuff down. The next day, after You know, this weekend's coming up. It's going to be cold up here in Ohio. I got nothing else to do. I'm going to come out in the shop. I'm going to wet sand all these pieces down. I'm going to let them harden up. So by Sunday, Monday, I'll be wet sanding again. But in the meantime, while this stuff is doing its thing, we're going to go back over here and start working on the MIG. You know, getting the second color on here and the third color, because it's ready for the second color, third color. This has been sitting for a week now, and I'm telling you, that baby is nice and dry and hard. I could probably put any kind of tape on there and pull it off, and I'm not going to pull that paint off. I guarantee you I won't be able to pull that paint off. But that's what happens when you take patience. But most people don't have that. They just want to go out and fly, and I understand it. Go fly. Don't do the stuff that I'm doing because it's painstaking and it's not for everybody. So this is Jetman, and I'm out of here.